Hello everybody. We're going to be looking at the court cards, also called face cards in the Tarot. And I wish to start with two cards that are not actually considered court cards, but they are a very vital part of reading the Tarot and looking for individuals. Now, normally the Empress and the Emperor, have different meanings. The Empress is the female side of us, and she represents complete femininity, the home, nurturing children, pregnancy, love, nurturing, motherly love, things like that. You can see the Venus sign right there. So she epitomizes all that's really the sacred feminine. And then we have the Emperor, that signifies the male or the male side of us. And the Emperor is the leader, the patriarch, just as the Empress is the matriarch. Here's our patriarch, and oftentimes in a reading, I will see with the Emperor coming up, I get a feeling that it really refers to maybe a grandfatherly type figure or someone who definitely rules the roost. Now, when these two cards come up, they're considered major arcana cards, number 3 and 4. They may not represent actual people, but an energy. I just want to introduce them because I feel that it's important for you to understand that they could definitely represent a person. Now, I've seen videos on YouTube that teach people how to read the cards in 10 minutes or less, and basically they're saying just look at the pictures and the pictures tell the story, which is, a vital part of learning to read the tarot. But these very same videos say don't ever use your intuition, and that's totally wrong. Our intuition was given to us as a divine gift, and actually we unconsciously start to employ it anytime we focus on any object, and we open up those channels that bring in information. So if you happen to run across a video like that, please ignore it. Because it's just really not going to help you as a true psychic, clairvoyant, and reader of the tarot. If you just want to be a card reader, as I say to my classes, then yes, just look at the cards, get a feeling for the story that they tell and do your reading. But as a professional or someone who is really adept and a tarot master, if you will, you're going to start learning how to open up your psychic channels of clairvoyance, which is clear seeing, clairaudience, which is clear hearing, claircognizance, which is clear knowing, and the clairsentience. Third chakra, which is clairempathy, feeling emotions, and then the clairsentience, which is actually feeling physical symptoms of something. You feel something physically in your body. And I know I've gotten off topic a little bit, but I really felt like that was important for you to know. So when these two cards come up, they can definitely refer to a person, a mother, a grandmotherly type figure, or someone who is very important in the querent's life that has the female attributes. And the same with the Emperor, grandfather, great uncle, person who really has the authority in the family. We're speaking of court cards right now, so that could also be an authority figure or even the government in someone's life. So I wanted to incorporate these two cards as I am talking about the different families of the face cards. I'm going to start with the Suit of Cups. The cups represent the element of water. Water conducts energy. People that are represented by the Suit of Cups are usually very sensitive people and very attuned to other realms, maybe even while not being aware of it. The cups represent someone who is sensitive, as I said, intuitive, gentle, kind, anything to do with the emotions or feeling emotions. And in a little while, we'll get into how you would interpret a face card in the cup suit in a reading. But let's take a look at the King of Cups. The King of Cups is someone who may represent a love affair, just like as any of the Cups face cards or court cards. He may represent, and I am just talking about the King right now, someone who is in a helping profession, someone who is interested in the welfare of others, very generous with the heart, if they haven't been damaged, by life and the heart chakra is closed. Someone who may be either a lover, as I said, or I really take a look at the cups as being the sun signs of Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. So when I'm attributing a sun sign to a face or court card, then those three sun signs are the water signs, and they will definitely be corresponding to a person with one of those sun signs. That's how I read primarily, and I'm usually always right. The King is sitting precariously on an ocean of water. There are dangers, possibly with the snake represented here, but he's not concerned about that. He's almost a little bit oblivious and lives in his own little special world, and he rules from there. The cup can be very full or empty. When it comes to a love affair and the King of Cups comes up, you definitely have somebody who is pliable, maybe vacillates a little bit, doesn't exactly have some real firm foundations underneath him, but he manages to get through. And if he can open up his heart to others, then he's a very, very good person to bring into your life. Definitely someone who's sweet, kind, and wanting to share his emotional life. And you're going to have to understand a little bit about each of the different water elements of astrology to get more into the King of Cups, and I hope to do that in a future video because there are different facets with each of the sun signs attached. For example, if the King of Cups does represent a husband, love affair, or someone coming into your life, and he's a Scorpio, then he might be someone who has all the cups attributes, but he might be somewhat rigid, fixed in his outlook, a little bit secretive, and is someone that, if wronged, might be secretly thinking about revenge. Once something happens to a Scorpio that they feel that they've been wronged, they have a tendency to carry that forever, and it's very hard for them to forgive. And the same applies to all of the court cards. If you've determined that they represent someone with a sun sign of Scorpio, that's just one example. We get to the Queen of Cups, once again, someone who's very intuitive, someone who loves to dream and just flow with life, and she cares about her friends, but she may isolate a lot, not really wanting to be really, really out there and mixing with people. She may think about things in ways that the other suits do not, where when she's got a problem to solve, she may be using her clairvoyance to problem solve it, go into her feeling base. And this could be without even being aware of the fact that she's doing this. But usually a gentle soul and doesn't want to hurt anyone, but then sometimes by her actions, she may inadvertently either not see someone else for who they really are, or she might even gloss over problems and try to ignore them and really incur some hard feelings there. But she really does rely on her intuition and her intuitive abilities to navigate through life. And when the Queen of Cups comes up in a reading, just as in all the court cards, she may, and this is not set in stone, but she may represent someone who has light hair, blonde to light to medium brown, light-colored eyes. Coloring in the court cards is very difficult. So again, one has to rely on their psychic gifts, really, to ferret out. And okay, if this is the Queen of Cups, then let me go into my clairvoyance, for example, and see if I can't picture what the person looks like that this card represents. And I'll be repeating this many, many times over. The Knight of Cups in the 78 card tarot deck has a lot of different roles. The Knight could definitely represent someone who's making an offer, some kind of an emotional offer, someone who's bringing a message of love, or may even represent someone coming in the near future or the far future. That is a possible love affair. Whether this Knight is full of empty promises with the cup sort of empty, or if the cup is overflowing and really means to be involved and has integrity and is serious about a possible relationship, then you do get that feeling of this person is really legit. They're good to go. But sometimes, unfortunately, if a Knight comes up and I do not read reversed. I've told all my classes this, but I kind of notice in the back of my mind if a card does come up reversed. And because I've been doing this for 30 years, I can remember it easily. For those of you who are just beginning, you may want to leave the card reversed, but there's a lot of controversy surrounding reading reverse cards, because for some systems they say if a card, for example, does come up reversed, it means the exact opposite of the traditional card meaning. And so you got to go into your left brain and try and remember what that is. And, in this case, if a card does come up reverse, you can leave it that way or you can put it upright, but you will have the sense that there's something off here. There's something not quite right. But again, the cups, the Knight, could represent someone who's light-haired, blue to green eyes, or definitely has something to do about love, a love relationship, or bringing in news of something very, very important for the querent. And so there you have the Knight. Knights represent action of some sort, so it's definitely movement in an area regarding emotions. Again, with the Page, pages often represent a form of a message coming in, or they represent the seeds of something starting to grow. So let's just put the Page by himself. He could represent a young man, a young woman, either one, either way. Usually the Knight does represent a male, but this particular page has to do with messages of love or emotions, or something is coming up on the horizon. See the fish jumping out of the cup? There may be a surprise just around the corner. And this young person or this energy never ceases to be amazed. They're open, they're ready to go. They're a lot like the Fool card in the Major Arcana, where they don't always look at things for what they really are, but they're open and with a childlike enthusiasm. They're ready to pursue whatever it is their heart's desire is, or whatever emotions are going on. If it's a message of love, it could be someone getting together and saying, I would like to start a relationship with you, or I would like to even go out with you and start dating. But again, it's the beginning of things, and then it moves more into the stages of more solid and mature feelings or emotions, as in the night and things starting to happen. And then if they're people, it could either represent, okay, here is a new relationship coming in, and this person is very gentle, laid back, kind of quiet, and keeps their own counsel, but they're a pretty good person. You can look forward to that coming in your near future, or this is the way this person is right now. If they represent a woman, it could even represent a woman of the water element that may be pregnant, news of a pregnancy, something new beginning, something starting to hatch, or something of an emotional nature is arriving. So, you may be asking yourself, could it come in the I gotta take this out. You may be asking yourself if it can come in the form of an email or a letter or a card or even a phone call. Most definitely. But we look at the other pages for that type of message. This message might come in the form of a Valentine or even a note left on the door. But when I look at the Page of Cups, I very often see either a young person, a boy or a girl, very gentle, very quiet, somewhat studious and withdrawn, maybe introverted a little bit, and that this child needs to be nurtured very carefully and cared for in a way that they're not abused, and spoken to in a way that if you spoke to, let's see, the Page of Wands, and you were sharp with them, they would just blow it off and go about their business. Whereas a Page of Cups child is much more sensitive and is liable to hold that within that memory of being spoken to harshly, and it really takes a lot of work to bring them out of themselves. So this is the Suit of Cups. When they show up in a reading, you do have to determine, is it an energy we're looking at here, or is it an actual person? Do we recognize this person? And this is where you get into interacting with your querent, which is another word for client or friend or whomever you're reading, and say, do you recognize this person? And if they do not, you may be looking more at an energy instead. And so you may be asking yourself, well, how the heck do I tell the difference? With practice, you will be easily able to tell the difference. You will just get this sense, this isn't a person, this is an energy that this card is representing. Or you get the feeling like this is a person in your past, and they're going to be figuring in your future, or you're going to be describing what this person could look like, and then your querent has to either validate it or just simply say, no, I just don't recognize it or that person that you're trying to describe to me. And don't worry about that, because they might call you 3 days later and say, oh my goodness, I just remembered who that might be. So don't let it discourage you if at first you have problems with face cards in the cup suit and they don't seem to connect to anybody in the querent's life. So that's the Suit of Cups for now.